morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. And today we got some really interesting, really important news. And the biggest or the main topic here is if the recession is upon us now and how it really will affect the markets. And we are also going to discuss the approval of Microsoft and Blizzard, basically Microsoft taking on Activision and Blizzard, and BRICS countries ditching the US dollar, what that could mean. And finally, second part of the video, improvements for Ecomi and Veve, what they could do and what we have for news, upcoming drops, and so on. And during all of that, we are going to look at Bitcoin price action, Ecomi price action, the dollar in comparison to the rest, and so on. So all of that right after the intro. Well. Good morning, everyone. I hope you got your coffee locked and loaded. And that was a weird moment because I was like on all of that right after the intro. And then I clicked into the nothing here. So yeah, that was weird. But yeah, guys, make sure to do your own research because I'm not a financial advisor, right? So before you ape into any investments, just take a quick look at it first, not because I'm saying anything here about that. And also smash up the like button on this live stream to help me to bring it out to more people immediately. That's what the YouTube algorithm needs. Doesn't cost you anything. I would be really appreciating it. I want to start this off with a little hint because actually I didn't sleep much. Instead, let me just show this to you. Instead, I was yesterday on a live stream that you might want to see. I was on this live stream here from Jordan Riz channel, and I was discussing with Doctor of Stuff, with Queen Veve and Foster Hilt, and it was moderated by Jordan Riz himself. So that was a good talk. I think it's 1.5 hours. We were talking about the Ecomi token there, and we did some back and forth, especially Foster and me, but also Doctor of Stuff and me. It was really great insight, great guys. I appreciated the talk. I really liked the talk. So yeah, guys, just check it out whenever you have time. And we got T2420 on the stream. Good morning. Smarty Pants is also here. Let's go. Smarty Pants, you also do not get a lot of sleep, right? Because I saw you in the live chat yesterday on this talk, at least in the beginning. So yeah, you must you must have the same amount of like a good quality 4 to 5 hours sleep that I got here. Yeah. Also, guys, please make sure to check out my channel here. Videos coming once in a while, so 2 to 3 videos per week. And then every morning we are here for the Crypto Morning Coffee live streams. So let's see what you guys have to say before we jump into the topic. US will run out of money by June 1st if the debt ceiling is not raised. Exactly, that's what we are talking about as well. Shalom, why do you do this heart attack thumbnail in the morning to us? You do not need a coffee anymore. That's what you wanted to say, right? Yeah, I mean, it's actually not a heart attack thumbnail, nor is it a clickbait, as we will see right now. So first of all, let's go with what Tito said here first. Treasury Secretary Yellen reaffirms US could run out of money to pay bills by early June. So we have been talking about this almost every morning right now since Yellen came out in panic addressing the economy of that they really need to put pressure on to the Congress to approve the debt ceiling. And the Congress has some, let's say, wishes that need to be done before, like the opposite administration or the opposite party has some wishes for cost cutting before they would approve. Why do they do this? They want to put pressure on the current governing party, because cost cutting means that they are not as favored anymore by people. People don't like if they get their stuff cut out. So yeah, that's always the game, but I think they will approve it. June 1st remains the earliest date that the US could default on its debt, and Janet Yellen is coming out once again and begging basically for the Congress, to lift the debt ceiling. We have talked in yesterday's live stream a little bit more specific about this. Today, I want to talk about something else here, and that is the recession that could be upon us. So, why current US recession warnings are unlike all others. This article, I think, was interesting. We are going to go a little bit into it. Economic experts are once again ringing the alarm bells over an imminent downturn. A US recession is coming, they say, in the second half of 2023. That time frame begins less than 3 weeks from now. So together with that debt ceiling as well. And then Jamie Dimon, not Demon, Dimon from JP Morgan, the CEO, he is saying that there is a danger lurking just over the horizon, given the risks that lie ahead. He told Bloomberg News, "I would take a mild recession happily." A billion investor Stan Druckenmiller also didn't mince his words this week at the investment conference, Zone Investment Conference. A hard landing is coming, he cautioned, and it's just naive not to be open-minded to something really, really bad happening. So that looks grim, right? And that is what these CEOs, these billionaire investors are saying for more than a year. They have been warning. Things weren't great last year. Inflation at a 40-year peak. Gas prices were elevated, as we all remember. Consumer sentiment plunged and markets fell by 20%. Still, the United States managed to avoid a recession for now. This has been most predicted potential recession in memory. So yeah, that probably is, because since 2 weeks, everyone who is not the government is predicting that recession. So why should we listen now? That's a really, really good question, right? There are two reasons, according to Paul Christopher, head of investment strategy at Wells Fargo, also not a small fish in the water: higher interest rates and the tightening credit crunch. And the Federal Reserve has raised the rates higher and more quickly than they have in decades. And some say that the ongoing US regional banking crisis is an early warning sign of stress on the system. That's not a regional banking crisis if the second bank in your country implodes and also banks outside of the US like Credit Suisse go underwater, and then you rip down more banks like First Republic Bank. That's not a US regional banking crisis. But anyways, it's a symptom of what's been happening. So the Fed's own experts predicted in March that the potential economic effects of the recent banking sector developments would lead to a mild recession starting later this year. And that's exactly why you cannot believe anything of what they are saying. Because if you are looking back, way back, in the beginning of the rate hiking cycle, they said that there will be no big inflation concerns. And then they said, yeah, there's inflation, but inflation is transitory. And then inflation wasn't transitory anymore, and they had to do more rate hiking and stuff like that. Then inflation was basically permanent, and they said there will be no recession. I think it was the Biden administration and Biden itself coming out saying we are not in a recession. And maybe they weren't, but it's always a shift of the narrative in little portions so that US citizens and the rest of the world can consume them like a little bit poison at the time until they say, yeah, it's going to be a recession. Everyone knew that, right? So a mild recession starting later this year is what they say is coming. Bank failures can make borrowing harder, which can curb spending and weigh on economic activity. A Fed survey released on Monday confirmed that lenders are stiffening their standards in the wake of the banking collapse. Demand for and supply of loans is now close to 2008 levels, which was the big housing crisis in the US. G-Money is here. Good morning from Orlando, Florida. I work the graveyard shift, so get to catch your streams on my days off. It works out great. Perfect, man. I'm really happy for that. And guys, smash the like button for these daily morning streams. I think that's the most effective way to get them out to more people and have more people here discussing with us. We also have our Veve whale energy here. Good morning, good vibes. What's going on? Smarty Pants. Yep. Tend to stay up late and wake up 7:30 a.m. my time. I get like 5 to 6 hours of sleep, which is enough for me, actually. Great. Then you're some of these superior human beings who doesn't need that. I need some more from time to time, especially if I work out a little bit. One of the biggest investors liquidated their bank stocks to zero. It's going to be bumpy ride for the rest of the year. 100% agree with you. And we are looking at some really interesting stuff that I bet most YouTubers have not shown yet or are not looking at right now. So what comes next? The United States is approaching 1 year since inflation peaked at 9.1%. Inflation is still 5%, well above the Fed's target of 2%. Yet, if they continue the rate hiking, we will see more of these banks that are going down. Yeah. So also we see here right now that Paul Tudor Jones says the Fed is done raising rates, stocks to finish the year higher from here, which is a weird statement, as we will see in a second. So billionaire hedge fund manager Paul Tudor Jones believes the Federal Reserve has finished raising interest rates in fight against inflation, and the stock market could grind higher this year. Now, this is interesting. Once again, I want to emphasize that the Federal Reserve is a two-word lie, right? So first of all, they are not federal. Yeah, there's no federal control over them. And secondly, there's no reserve. So there's no reserve. They only decide whether the money printer can turn on again or not, right? So and if they are tightening the inflow into the market of capital or not. So yeah, it's funny. It's also like the U.S. Treasury has no treasure. So not going to read all of this, but instead let's look at really at the core point here, and that's that he says the Fed is done raising rates and then the stocks would go higher from here, and if the stocks go higher from here, that means Bitcoin as correlated asset would also go higher, right? Wrong, in my opinion, because look at this. Every rate hike cycle in history ended up with a recession and market correction. The pause reversal of the rate hike signals recession ahead of time, shown by the highlighted boxes. So no matter if they do another 25 basis points rate hike or not, but we all agree that the Fed is close to the end of the rate hiking cycle. So what do we see here? The orange line is the rates. We have the crises, the big crises here, and the rate hiking that has been done. Plus, in comparison, we also have the S&P 500 as the blue line, and the red ones are recessions. Now look closely. The S&P 500, yes, it's going up, but it goes with major corrections here, and we cannot see the other corrections because they are so small in perspective, which is because the prices are already so inflated by the decoupling of the dollar from gold completely somewhere back here. So let's look at the crises and what happened. 73 to 74 stock market crash, rate hiking to a peak of 11%, a little bit low, easing, rate hiking again, recession, 40%, right? So yeah, and that and we see we have a 40% drawdown in the S&P 500 here. Next one, Latin America debt crisis. Rate hiking to double peaks at 18-20% after each peak. Small recession, big recession, -23, -24% S&P 500. Then Black Monday, 7.25% interest rate hikes, 30% correction after the peak in the S&P 500. Early 90s recession, 9.75%, right? You get what I'm going at here, because the recession, here we can see it really. The recession is coming in the downturns when the rates not even stable, but going back below. And then here we have a dot-com bubble. So now we are getting in the times that most of us remember as like dot-com bubble, right? Rate hiking, and the price of the S&P still go up. Dot-com bubble 65%. Then after plateauing and then cutting rates, when they cut rates, -46% downturn. And then global financial crisis, well, 5.25%, 2008, 2009, plateau, cutting rates, going into a recession. So current rate hike cycle causing next financial crisis. Well, we are already here, right? So this is not 100% accurate, and we are already coming down here. This is not up to date, but I wanted to use this because there's no better up to date graphic to show you what happens when cutting rates is coming into play. It's not, as many say, that necessarily the markets are going into a direct upswing. It's more that once the cutting is going to low rates, then we get the economic boom again, right? So once we are hitting the low levels of the time again, that's when the economic boom is coming up again. So yeah, as Tito said, there is going to be a bumpy ride for the rest of the year. And the question is if the Fed will already cut rates right now, or if they will plateau like they did here before, and we'll just have the sideways movement in the S&P and maybe then another correction in the S&P. Regardless, it's going to be very interesting, right? So yeah. Let's say Dan O is commenting something on Ecomi, which I will just postpone a little bit and pull up here one by one then once I am done with my stuff here. I wanted to quickly go into this one here. This is also interesting because there's also a major global shift with regards to who's governing the world and what other countries are doing while the US is governing the world still. Common currency on agenda for South African BRICS summit. So there is a summit in Johannesburg, if I'm not mistaken, in South Africa. The creation of a BRICS currency will be on the main topics up for discussion when the group of 5 emerging nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, meet in Johannesburg in August. South African officials said this week. Russia has been spearheading the push for the creation of a joint currency, and Brazil has also thrown its support behind the idea. China, too, is in favor of challenging what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs calls dollar hegemony. So they are basically challenging the world reserve currency together. They are wanting to bring out a currency. There's even discussions about that this could be backed by gold and so on. So yeah, South Africa really can't play much of a role. It's a very small open economy with very little reserves, which gets influenced by global factors. China might have possibility, but the willingness of Chinese authorities to let the Chinese currency float freely and lose control is close to none. So they want a free-floating currency between all of these countries, and the Chinese yuan is not the thing to go with, just in case someone wondered. And there's also another country with ambitions that has been warned by the IMF to do that, and that is Zimbabwe is selling millions of gold-backed crypto tokens already because they had massive problems with inflation in the past. And so, yeah, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe has sold 14 billion Zimbabwe dollars worth of gold-backed digital tokens. So that's a digital currency there worth around 39 million, not too much, like average crypto whale can purchase the entire supply, but nonetheless, for the country, it's a lot, right? Despite a warning from the International Monetary Fund. And why are they warning this? Because the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, is working in the way that they are lending money, supporting countries with money, and in turn, they get influence over those countries while they are basically holding them to this loan. And then when countries pay back that loan, that's the only way. They first of all, they make money by doing that, so they refund into their fund, but also they are keeping control onto these countries. So Brazil was, for example, one of these countries that paid back their stuff to the International Monetary Fund, and there are some other countries as well that paid back their debt in full, which is obviously nothing what the IMF likes. And now there is a way that countries can help themselves, which the IMF also doesn't like, because then they are not needed anymore and they cannot execute control into these countries and put pressure on those countries. So that's why we have these things going on. So countries are moving to a more let's say independent status from either the US and the world reserve currency, or the IMF, which has also something to do with global control over such countries. And there are countries right now that are also considering other ways, which is Argentina is basically on the brink of currency collapse at the moment. Zimbabwe has already collapsed before. Venezuela is in deep trouble as well, and so on. So there is a lot of things going on right now during this potential global recession that we are looking at. Let's quickly go into some Bitcoin news, because that was funny. And then we are going to talk about Ecomi and Veve. This Twitter space was fire. We discovered that's Judy Wertheimer saying here. We discovered that the first purchase ever with Bitcoin was buying a JPEG for 500 BTC in February 2010. It predates the famous 10,000 BTC pizza purchase, which is right now at the moment celebrated as the first BTC purchase ever. Satoshi himself helped facilitate the JPEG sale. Laser eye cult in absolute shambles. So what's in this post? In this post is basically written, "Hello all, I've decided to give Bitcoin a try." In 2010, that's so crazy, man. I wish I would have given Bitcoin a try in 2010, but I didn't know about it back then. According to this, 500 Bitcoin should roughly be $1. Look at this, guys. What would you give to be able to take advantage of this? I'd give so much after PayPal fees, right? So to get the picture, please send the coins to me and then send a private message stating the time you sent them, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So the image I'm selling is my own creation with a resolution of 1280x960. Great for a desktop background. Here's a low quality preview. Unfortunately, the preview isn't there anymore. So the proxy invalidated image is there. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to meet you all. My address is, and so on. If this generates any interest. So that's something like the first ever NFT sale, right? So yeah, there you go. And then it says primordial NFTs. Someone tried to sell a JPEG for BTC months before Bitcoin Pizza Day. Although We don't know if that sale has ever gone through. I thought that was interesting for all of us to know. And lastly, I wanted to show you this here because most of us are not whole coiners of Bitcoin. So the numbers of addresses holding 0.1 plus coins just reached an all-time high of 4,369,864. So as you can see here, the whole number of addresses holding 0.1 plus coins is shooting up right now. And that's obviously in addition to that what's included is the 1 million people that hold over one entire Bitcoin. So then that means if you hold more than 0.1 Bitcoin, you are in the top 4.4 million of the entire world population, right? So at the moment, the rest doesn't hold any Bitcoin or any significant amounts of Bitcoin, because that's it's like a 2.7 thousand Bitcoin stack if you hold 0.1. I am in this bracket. I am moving here slightly above the 0.1 range, and I'm slowly saving into Bitcoin, like a couple of euros per week. So yeah, let me know if you are also in this group of the 4.4 holding more than 0.1 Bitcoin already, or are you more I'm going with the paper or Ecomi or whatever, all in. Yeah, quickly, this is important, a little bit more important for the metaverse, NFT space, and so on. A while ago, it's still in the bull run, I think, or in the later stages of the bull run, or in initial stages of the bear market, we all know that there was some crazy metaverse stuff going on, and that was also when Microsoft announced that they wanted to take over Activision Blizzard as a $69 billion acquisition, huge amounts. And they announced at the time, or there was speculation at the time, that Activision Blizzard is supposed to build the Microsoft-driven metaverse for them. Now, in these articles right now and everything else, like press releases, Microsoft and Blizzard and everyone else not talking about metaverse anymore, but the EU is approving the acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft. And what stood in the way was basically some concerns, regulatory concerns, that Microsoft had to comply. For example, that they offer basically a license-free cloud streaming for all of the games that are already out there for Blizzard. So yeah, that's basically just something that I wanted to share with you guys. Cleared hurdle. This acquisition is going through, and now we have a Microsoft Activision Blizzard giant that could be coming out when technology is going. Okay. So G-Money says, I sold 2 BTC in 2015 to get a MacBook. F in chat to pay respect. Though you have to always see that one day everyone will realize that there's no one ever going broke by taking profits, right? And I am pretty sure that you have been in profits for those 2 BTCs. So, and you would have had to buy a MacBook anyways, right? So yeah, sure, you could have hodled these BTCs, and now they would be worth more like 50,000, but that hurts. But for example, if you had 50,000 right now, you'd purchase something with a little smaller share of it, and we go to 200,000 or so, it's the same story. And at some point, you have to take some profits to realize some things, right? But yeah, that hurts for sure. That hurts. Okay, so then, this was also interesting. The Apple headset is so good, says Oculus founder Palmer Luckey here. So founder of Mod Retro, Oculus VR, and Android Tech. He has said the Apple headset is so good. I don't know if he means the glasses or the sound headset, but anyways, he's giving some credit there for Apple. Just thought that was interesting. Quick look at Bitcoin, not really moving anything. So we are not going into massive TA here or something like that, only wanting to point out that this is potentially still a rejection and a bearish retest as we had stated yesterday. I can't draw again, but you see this retest and coming back down. DXY still, actually it has turned green here right now. And then we need to talk about it because we have talked about this yesterday, that if this is a bounce and we go up here from here, then markets might suffer, and that correlates actually with which we have seen before, right? So if we draw in this major trend line here and we see that this has been actually broken and we could be bouncing here, that would be bad. What I'm hoping for is that this is not a bounce and that this is a fake out and that we are falling again. And if we fall, Bitcoin will shoot up, right? So yeah, with that said, let's look also at Ecomi. With regards to Ecomi, sometimes I wonder if it's just as simple as the Ecomi team needed funds and held an ICO with OMI without much regard for regulations. And now they've simply realized the regulation difficulty in implementing the OMI team, leaving them scrambling to come up with a compliant use case. Oh, the token, not team. Yeah, okay. So, and now, implementing the OMI token, leaving them scrambling to come up with a compliant use case. I've done a fair bit of SEC regulation research, and everything points to $OMI being labeled as security if it gains enough attention. I've done also some research into the securities matter. I think it depends on, because if Ecomi is deemed a security because of the token ICO, then almost every coin out there will be a security, right? And then forced to be delisted and so on. So that in itself cannot be it. The other thing is that the whole thing with the Howey test in terms of outside of the ICO, token ICO, which is if you are relying on a third party to do the gains, yada yada, that depends on how they're implementing the OMI token into the Veve app, if they are implementing the OMI token into the Veve app. So I agree with you, there are regulatory issues, but on the other hand, also the reason why so many, let's say, or more of the Moon Boy side are saying that they are taking so long to do whatever thing for the Ecomi token. However, for example, exchange listings will always be legit, no matter what coin you have, as long as there's no other use case and only exchange listings, you don't have a problem at all, right? So yeah, what have we seen for the Ecomi token here? By the way, let me refresh this page quickly. What have we seen for the Ecomi token so far? There we go. Just get rid of my invisible drawings. I don't know why this browser is doing to me this year. So yeah, we lost this support, right? We have, if you are following this channel closer here, for Ecomi and Veve and Bitcoin and whatever, Crypto Morning Coffee, you remember that when we were here, we said that we would get this, most likely this bearish, this dead cat bounce, and then follow to the downside. So we are having something like a small support here. You can actually draw that in, where it seems to be that larger purchases are being made. Nonetheless, there is no volume whatsoever, and we have just bounced off of this, not really getting traction. We are coming back down to this. So overall, I still believe that we are coming down at least to this 0005 level, and then we will see. yesterday when discussing with Foster on Jordan Rees' channel, Foster pointed out something very interesting about the Ecomi token, and that is there is not so much room to the downside in terms of market cap. I didn't verify this, but he basically said that he would that there was at 0001 there was only a $28 million market cap or something like in that range for the entire OMI circulating supply, which would then mean that someone could buy the entire supply with 28 million, which is not a whole lot of money anymore. So I think there's a fair point to say that it's very difficult to reach these levels, although I'd still say not what can I say, for a coin that has no use case at the moment and only promises and nothing implemented, no utility and no exchanges, 28 million is still it would be achievable, and it doesn't mean that we cannot lose this level here, right? So we will see. I think there, if we get there, let's say if we get here at 0005, we might have some sideways movement, and then the big question is, do we drop, right? And if we lose that, then we have new price discovery to the downside. But yeah, so far I'm looking at this, how this is playing out, and yeah, I'm pretty chilled with my 2 million Ecomi tokens. I know a lot of you guys have way more, but I'm pretty chill. I might at these levels get a little bit more, or DCAing a little bit more into these ranges here. But overall, yeah, I think that's what is to say about Ecomi. Unfortunately, we cannot go with the breaking news here and have some prices rising. Maybe that's happening in the future. Fred says, "Yo, PH, listening to you while doing some data entry at my work." That's great. I hope I'm not distracting you too much from work, but if I can give you some entertainment and some info here, I'm pretty happy to doing that. 20 people in the live stream. Smash the like button, please, for me, guys. Every one of you, please smash the like button so that I can get the stream out to more people. Thanks for smashing the like button. Really appreciate that. SmartyPants says, I just noticed, are you using Brave for your web browser? The best one, IMO. I actually bought their token back in 2019 and sold it for a good profit in 2021. Yes, I'm using the Brave browser. I think it's good. I want to support a browser that has implemented crypto wallet. They have been, or they're paying some Brave also if you are accidentally or not clicking on ads. I have been farming some Brave tokens in my wallet, getting some Brave ever since. And I still hold my Brave tokens. Let's see, maybe next bull run, they might be worth something. Right now it's like $20 or $30 of Brave. Listen to Around the Ecomiverse. Good point on Epico Regal. Whatever happened with that? Did that venture burn any circulating supply for OMI at all? Not really. I don't even know if they implemented Ecomi into their stores or if they just announced that and never did it. I have no idea, but I don't know anyone anymore talking about Epico Regal. I think that game is either dead or has so few users that there's nothing going on, and there's no way that they, in my opinion, that they revived that game. I remember last thing was that they brought a David Yu NFT to the game, which is clearly not the I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't hear anything about Epico. Are you buying anything on Veve? I have been purchasing. What was the last thing I bought? Let me quickly remove my screen here and see if I can log on Veve. So the last thing that I got was the gauntlet. So I purchased. So I have to log in here. I purchased the not purchased the gauntlet. I crafted the gauntlet. Logging into Veve is always pretty much a pain. So let me get this done here quickly so we can look at my stack, but I need to get up the 2FA code here, which hopefully works. Yeah, G-Man says, I have the David Yu NFT. So is that David Yu NFT interoperable? Because if it is, then at least you might be able to sell it in the bull run if David Yu basically is a highly famous person in the NFT spaces again. Then you can sell that one. So let me share my screen here for you guys. Then we can also see. There you go. So that's my app.vv. So we have some comics coming up here: Disney comic, Amazing Fantasy comic, and then there's another Fantastic Four comic. Also Marvel artwork. What do we have here? Crafts. I did craft Soulstone and stuff like that. That's not my collectibles. Where's my collection? There we go. So yeah, here we go. So my last purchase was the Chip and Dale Golden Moment. And I have the Soulstone, this mint number 74 Soulstone here, and I crafted this gauntlet. Not too good of a mint though, but I don't care. Maybe the airdrop, I don't know if the airdrop will have the same mint as my crafted gauntlet, or if it's just a random mint. If it's a random mint, then I'd be happy to take a good mint here. Yeah, and what else did I buy? I bought some comics, but it's also a while ago. Like I bought this Banshee comic because it's worth something on Go Collect, and it only has 125 editions. The floor is currently sitting at 110 gems, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's stuff I bought. Yeah, what else? Yeah, I bought this secret rare comic a while ago. I have this ultra rare here, but I'm buying one here and there. Not too crazy right now. First of all, I want to see where this is all going, right, before allocating more money. Dan O says, I'm looking forward to how Veve closes out the year with Mitch and Nestor on board. It feels like they could take so many tips on how to make their platform more appealing. Yeah, which brings me also to the next topic here, which I wanted to discuss with you guys, is what could Veve really improve besides everything that they did. And yesterday we talked a little bit in the end of that stream with Jordan Rees, and there are some things in terms of in-app gamification and what you need to, as a content creator as well, because ultimately you want to have content creators doing stuff in Veve, right? And if I'm sitting here right now with you guys, there's nothing that I can do. So one of my huge is the wrong word. That's what I use on titles and thumbnails. But one of my suggestions, what I really want as a content creator, someone who's doing live streams for you guys, is I want a functionality where I have something to do on the web app here to present to you guys. And that is, let's say there is a blind box coming out, for example, a Disney Golden Moments. I want to be able to purchase one or two of these blind boxes and that they stay boxed. I want to purchase the box so that I can buy another box on the secondary market so that I can open that up on stream whenever I want, whenever it fits my hours. So that I can say, for example, I can say, oh, of that blind box, I purchased 5. So I have one blind box to open up at the end of every stream for us to get excited about, right? So that's something, for example, that I would like to have. The other thing that I would like to have is, for example, a banner that's popping up whenever something magnificent is happening. So, for example, a banner that whenever someone is pulling a 41 on a drop or from a blind box or whatever, from an airdrop or from a crafting event, that everyone that is currently in the app gets a banner on the screen that is, these World of Warcraft announcers that are on raids when the boss is doing a mechanic like beware. there was always the sound like beware, and that you have this sound, or whatever sound, you have this banner in the app and something's happening like beware, so secret rare Miles Morales has been burned, right? Or 41 mint Charizard has been pulled, or something like that, so that you have an announcer there or for example that number 201 or whatever the lowest mint is on a comic has been pulled, right? And also that the comic books can also be, instead of 5 rarities that you get right away, that you get something like a comic book blister or something like that, where you don't see which one's in there, and you just purchase that, and you decide if you unseal it or if you leave it like that, if you resell it or if you store it sealed, such as Pokemon booster packs. That would be so great. It would be so amazing, because it would give so much dynamic to the app. Yes, interoperable floor is 28 Matic. Congrats, not too bad. HRO on overall user interface and design. Crypto is on small but appealing things like unpackaging at animation. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm talking about. Unpackaging animation needs to be coming with these improvements as well, right? Have a nice stack of Banshee common and uncommon around 50. Yeah, so I have only one uncommon there, but then we are so yeah, I have a 218 mint there. I purchased this for little money. Buying unopened product seems like a no-brainer. Yeah, that seems like a no-brainer, and it would give more selling to the Vivi drops, right? Because then it means that a portion of the overall supply remains packed, which means that floor prices are higher, but you'd still sell out for $6.99, right? So people would go for more editions. So for example, there's a comic drop that is worth something on Go Collect, but not too much, that would not sell out at the moment for 7.5 or 10,000 editions. So I would go ahead and just purchase several of the sealed ones, right? And everyone would do so. So probably they would be able to then increase the edition sizes. So, and then there would be like a pack storage where you have some of these packs, and obviously you could also go with trading cards and so on. And the next thing is, they should also enable trading with like a base fee or something, that they still make money out of it. So they should be allowing us, for example, trade the same for the same, like same rarity for same rarity or something like that, so that you can just trade back and forth. That would be getting a lot of traction in social media and so on, to looking for someone who trades Spider-Man 4 for Spider-Man 3, common for common, for example, right? If you could make these trades, that would be amazing. Like I don't know, maybe even, let's say, only comics, common with common, uncommon with uncommon, and so on, if that would be possible in any way. Option to keep boxes unopened would be amazing. I'd start stacking Peely Fantasy immediately. Yeah, I'd start stacking any blind box immediately, because I know that it's just, as a content creator, that's excitement, right? So yeah, what else do I have here? So for example, imagine you would have an unpacked Waldo, like the first ever Disney whatever. You just let it sit there for 5 years or something like that. We also need direct offers for collectibles and profiles. Yeah, that would be also good, right? I don't know what else. Yeah, here's my Peely. I actually have the 616 Peely. I bought that. Let's see if Mr. 616 wants it one day. Yeah, so anyways, with the comics and that stuff, that's basically it. Showroom could also be a little bit better, so that I could be, while we are discussing Ecomi and Veve, really, yeah, let's say, do have some gamification and have some other people, like first iteration of Metaverse, right? So that also in these talks, that we could just be running around on a shared screen or so. That would be cool. How profitable do you think Veve is overall? Opinions seem to vary a lot. I wish there was a way to find out. I think it's profitable, but not as much as people think. In the sense of that they lost a lot of money due to the gem fraud, and then also due to the App Store fees. And as we have seen, there are many people still not using the App Store, which is it's crazy. But there are many people using the App Store, which is crazy. And for most people, it's more lucrative to purchase gems right in the web app. So people are not using the web app whatsoever, as I can see it. Because look at Twitter. How often do you see screenshots from the web app? Actually, no, you only see screenshots from mobile phone, and it makes sense. But we had, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I presented this also on my live streams here. There was a ruling in California that the Apple fees are illegal. So maybe they are going away. Who knows? And they were illegal because of the equal competition rights or something like that. So that's pretty. If you Google NFT, if you Google Apple fees illegal, then you are finding that right away. I mean, Veve's ability to generate profitable revenue. Yeah, exactly. I understand what you mean. I have made a video about this as well. It's called The Huge Gem Problem. And then there's also the video of the broken gem economy, which is basically explaining in which scenarios Veve is profitable. And also it explains why Veve's vault values or your vault values are dropping all the time, because Veve is most profitable in the scenario of everyone going for primary market sales, right? Because primary market sales means 100% of the gems that you created or that you brought to the app, even with the 30% fee, 100% of those gems is going directly to Veve. So that's the point where they are most profitable. And the second point where they are most profitable is if collectibles are a lot traded back and forth and have a lot of iterations through the fees, then they are also getting profitable after more than one collectible iteration, right? Together with cash out and so on, the 10% cash out fee and so and everything. So there are scenarios where if you cash in and you do only one trade and then you cash out these profits, that Veve is actually in the negative, right? So what this does is that Veve is incentivized to take as many gems as possible out of circulation, which then cause it in itself, because Veve is a walled garden and there's not enough capital influx, causes this let's say congestion, that there is just not enough gems to have prices go up, while edition sizes are going up in the entire app. Gem level is going lower in the entire app, also because of the bear market and the current sentiment, right? So you have this spiral down, which then causes people to not wanting to go for drops anymore, because the gem level is decreasing the overall floor prices, but Veve is not readjusting all of the prices down to the next level, which then, basically is the spiraling down, where only your super big brand exciting drops or super high scarcity drops can really get people to participate in the drops. And I think this problem will remain until there's one of two mechanics. First of all, the entire sentiment is coming back in the market, and there's so much capital inflow that Veve doesn't care. But ultimately, they crushed the market with their high edition numbers when this was the case and prices were skyrocketing. They just did more and more edition sizes. Or the other thing that can be done is to lower the cash out fee and open up ways to get cash in, so that the flow is not hindered of cash in, cash out. So which then makes it possible for crypto whales to come in, for example, like let's say Ethereum, massive Ethereum whales have a way to just get into Veve, benefit of the Veve market, purchase collectibles, hold collectibles, trade in that market, and get their cash out immediately again without a 10% fee, because no one in their right mind would go into a trading platform where it have a 10% fee of cashing out, and then after that all of your tax stuff, right? So yeah, they need to work on this. G-Money says, I've never been able to build a showroom I want because it crashes the app. Yeah, that's also something they need to work on. Exactly. Smartypan says, I can't do anything in Vault on my phone because it will just overheat my phone and crash soon after. What are your top 3 favorite collectibles comics that you own and 3 you don't but plan to buy? So my favorite 3 are Journey into Mystery 85, the first appearance of Loki. That's a secret rare I own. The Banshee secret rare is absolutely my favorite because of the scarcity that it has. I see that one going up at least 20-30x, so to 2 to 3k in a bull run at least, probably even more because of the high scarcity. Then what's the third? Probably a Golden Homer or something like that, because Golden Homer is just so many firsts in one collectible, like first appearance Homer, first appearance Bart Simpson, first appearance Simpsons, first ever Disney umbrella collectible, first ever golden moment, and so on. So that's one that I also own that I'm bullish on. Although it has a higher circulating supply, but if users come into the app more and more, then it doesn't matter too much, I think. 3 that I don't but plan to buy. Journey into Mystery 83 secret rare I plan to buy one day. Darth Vader animated, and if ever possible, I would like to buy a secret rare Spider-Man Ultimate Animated of the first ever Spider-Man drop. If it's possible for me to purchase one day. I don't know, but that's what I want to buy. Especially those animated rewind posters. So guys, I have to go, unfortunately. Please do me a favor, subscribe if you haven't yet. Smash the like button on this live stream if you enjoyed this. I'll be back tomorrow with more Crypto Morning Coffee. Enjoy your coffee, guys. Why is this defocusing? Anyways, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I really appreciate you guys coming to my live stream each and every morning, discussing with me. I am looking forward already to tomorrow morning. And yeah, see you next video or live stream.